In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to render a bar chart using ggplot2. The first thing we need to do is change our working directory and load in our dataset, which I've already done here. The dataset is the Hollywood Movies 2011 dataset included in the Lock 5 textbook. And as you can see, it's loaded into our active session, as you can see it up here in the Environment tab in the top right pane. Next, what we need to do is load in ggplot2. So I'm going to highlight library ggplot2, click Run, and we see that now that is loaded into our session. So now we can go ahead and create a bar chart that we want. Now the bar chart we want here is to display the counts of genres, so we want to understand how many movies in 2011 fell into each specified genre. And so what we're going to do is build this in layers. Now there's only going to be really one layer here, but we'll work through that. The first thing we always do in ggplot is use the function ggplot to load in the data, and so for us that's the Hollywood Movies 2011, as well as provide a mapping. This mapping will tell R what should be plotted on the horizontal axis and what should be plotted on the vertical axis if we need to specify both of those. For a bar chart, we only need to give the categorical variable that we're interested in, so for us that's genre, and we will call that x equals because that's going to be plotted on the horizontal. To end this line, we say plus to tell ggplot that something else is coming, and what we need to specify now is a geometry, and that's going to be the bar chart geometry. So we say, with this information, with this data set, and with this mapping, render a bar chart. So let's run this code and see what happens. And as you'll see, a basic bar chart pops up. On the vertical axis here we have frequency or count, and on the horizontal axis we have genre, just as we'd expect. Now this isn't very pretty yet, so I also want to show you how you can reorder these bars, either in ascending or descending order. And so let's change the mapping in order to do that. And the main change here is that we can't just specify genre, because it's going to go in alphabetical order if you don't give it any more information. And so what we do is we say we're going to reorder genre, which is our variable. And we're going to give another variable to order by, and then a function to calculate on that variable. So we're going to specify genre again and say, well, how many, the length, how many movies fell into each genre, and we'll order that way. We're still going to have the same base geometry bar. Let's just run those two lines and see what happens. So as you can see now, we're in ascending order, and we just have adventure all the way up to action now. It's much easier to read. But now you'll see that the horizontal axis label, the x-axis label, is not informative anymore. And so we're going to add another layer here specifying the x-axis label that's readable. And so that's genre. We can run this again, and now we have a relatively nice looking plot. But when you have longer axis labels down here on the x-axis, you might want to rotate the plot so that your bars are coming across the screen rather than building up, so that the labels don't run into each other. So we'll add another layer telling it to flip the coordinates, the x and y coordinates of this plot, and let's see what happens. So now you can see that the labels are quite readable and the bars are still extremely readable. This is a quite good rendering of this bar chart for the movie genre data, and so we'll be done. This is how you can create a bar chart in ggplot2.